The Pacific Ocean, an endless expanse of water, concealing thousands of secrets and mysteries beneath its surface. Yet even more enigmatic than the ocean's depths are the islands scattered across its vastness. Australia and Oceania are lands about which most of us know surprisingly little. Behind the vibrant tourist postcards featuring beaches and modern cities lie ancient mysteries waiting to be unveiled. Imagine majestic stone sculptures whose ages are counted in millennia. Who created them? For what purpose? Why are many of them positioned with astronomical precision? The ancient rock art of Australia, perhaps the oldest in the world, tells stories of beings that modern science cannot explain. Are they merely the products of ancient artists' imaginations, or do they bear witness to something greater? And what about the sacred sites of the Aboriginal people, where, according to them, the spirits of ancestors still dwell? Many travellers and explorers recount the inexplicable sensations they experienced in these places of power. Sensations that defy rational explanation. Natural formations that seem to have been crafted by intelligent beings. Ruins of settlements seemingly abandoned in an instant. All these are parts of the great mosaic of mysteries of the fifth continent and its surrounding islands. Let us embark together on a journey through these enigmatic places, where the boundary between reality and myth becomes blurred and ancient legends come to life right before our eyes. And if we turn our gaze to the opposite side of our planet, we will discover an equally mysterious place, where the heart of the ancient continent pulses. The majestic Uluru, a colossal monolith rising in the midst of the endless Australian deserts, stands like a timeless guardian of ancient secrets. This immense sandstone formation, reaching 348 metres in height and stretching 9 kilometres in circumference, astonishes not only with its size, but also with the inexplicable energy felt by anyone approaching this sacred site. For the Anangu people, Uluru is not just a natural formation, but a living entity, breathing with the history and wisdom of their ancestors. According to their ancient beliefs, this rock was created during Chukurpa, the mysterious dream time, when ancestral spirits shaped the landscape of Australia. Every crack, every curve on the surface of Uluru tells its own story of the feats and journeys of these mystical beings. Particularly striking is the monolith's ability to change colour throughout the day, from cool grey at dawn to fiery red-orange in the rays of the setting sun, as if the rock awakens and falls asleep with the sun. What causes Uluru to glow with this otherworldly light? Modern science explains it through the unique mineral composition and the refraction of sunlight. But the Aboriginal people know that it is the spirits of their ancestors awakening in the stone. Equally mysterious are the acoustic phenomena surrounding Uluru. Visitors often recount strange sounds, echoes that distort unpredictably, and whispers that seem to come from nowhere. Some researchers propose a theory that the unique shape and structure of the rock create a natural resonator, amplifying certain frequencies of sound waves. Others suggest that these sound effects result from the interaction of wind with the numerous caves and crevices. But how do we explain the accounts of people claiming to have heard voices and chants when there was no one nearby? Local elders say that it is the spirits singing, preserving ancient knowledge. Along the perimeter of Uluru, sacred sites are located where secret ceremonies were held and still take place. Rock paintings, dating back thousands of years, cover the walls of caves and the outcrops of the rock, telling stories understood only by the initiated. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of human presence in the Uluru area, dating back more than 22,000 years, yet many questions remain unanswered. How did ancient people, without modern technology, create such accurate astronomical maps visible among the rock art? Where did they acquire knowledge of the stellar cycles that are confirmed by modern science? Some researchers speculate that Uluru may have served as a sort of observatory where priests studied the movements of celestial bodies. Others see encoded messages in the drawings containing information about past natural disasters and warnings of the future. But the truth, as always, eludes us, leaving more questions than answers. And while scientists continue their research, Uluru keeps its secrets, allowing us only to guess what other mysteries are hidden within its ancient stones and what messages from the past we have yet to decipher. But this is not the only mystery that Australia holds. Far from the majestic Uluru, in the remote corners of Kakadu National Park, lies a world of ancient rock art galleries that serve as true windows into the mindset of the Indigenous people, who have preserved their traditions and customs for thousands of years. These unique artistic creations, carved into stone walls, are not just artistic images, but sacred stories etched into eternal stone. Among the most enigmatic and significant images is Wanjanatha, spirit of rain and protector of water, who, according to myths, created mountains and rivers and taught people how to hunt and gather. Wanjina is depicted with characteristic features, large eyes and long hands, and his images are often accompanied by symbols that may contain encrypted messages meant only for the initiated. What are the true meanings of these symbols? How did ancient artists convey their knowledge and beliefs through such strange and mysterious images? Local Aboriginals believe that Wanjina is not just a mythical figure, but a real entity dwelling in water bodies that continues to influence human life. Their cult and rituals related to this spirit are filled with sacred significance, and each image on the stone is not just an artifact, but a fragment of their soul and history. Around these rock galleries, there is a special atmosphere where every sound, every shadow, seems imbued with the spirits of ancestors. Visitors, stepping onto sacred ground, feel as if the wind whispers ancient truths to them, and the colors on the stones begin to come alive, telling stories of times when the earth was young and people lived in harmony with nature. But how can we understand this ancient culture if the keys to their knowledge have been lost in the ages? Researchers are trying to decipher the meanings of various symbols using methods such as carbon dating and laser scanning to restore the chronology of these images. But each answer gives rise to new questions, and to this day, it remains unclear what knowledge and warnings are hidden in these stone canvases. It is important to remember that preserving this cultural heritage is not just a task for archaeologists, but a sacred duty of each of us. How can we protect these places when time and human hands affect them? Are there forces that can help in the preservation of these sacred galleries? And how can we learn from the ancient Aboriginals to restore the lost connection with nature? With each answer we find, new horizons of mysteries open before us, and perhaps we are only scratching the surface of the ocean of secrets waiting to be revealed. So what remains? Questions remain open, and the mysteries of the past continue to beckon us like a flame to which the souls of seekers are drawn. The Rocks of Carajong, located in the picturesque expanses of Western Australia, are a true wonder of nature, embodying the spirit of ancient legends and myths. These peculiar stone pillars, reaching heights of several meters, seem to have come to life and frozen in time, evoking associations with living beings that once roamed this land. Each pillar has a unique form, reminiscent of either human silhouettes or animal shapes, which cannot fail to inspire awe and a slight shiver. Local Aborigines believe that these rocks are not just geological formations, but petrified heroes of their myths, who have become symbols of their culture and history. According to legends passed down through generations, these pillars emerged due to mythical events that took place in ancient times. One of the most famous stories tells of two brothers, great warriors who fought against wild spirits threatening their tribe. After long battles filled with courage and self-sacrifice, the brothers were turned into rocks to forever protect their kin from evil, with their spirits continuing to dwell in these magnificent pillars. How could such mighty beings become part of the rock? Perhaps it is a natural wonder or the intervention of higher powers, about which we can only speculate. With each step through this magical place, it seems that the wind whispers ancient tales, and the shadows of the rocks outline the figures of long-gone heroes. Local inhabitants who care for these sacred lands share stories of how they perform rituals to honor the spirits of their ancestors, whom they believe reside in these petrifications. These are not just rocks, but keepers of secrets that link the past and present, reminding us of our connection to nature and ancient traditions that should not be lost. But how can a modern person understand and appreciate this heritage? How can we preserve these wonders for future generations when the world is changing so rapidly? The questions raised by these reflections remain open, as do the mysteries hidden within the rocks. Some scientists suggest that such formations could serve as astronomical calendars, helping ancient peoples navigate the cycles of nature. But how could they transmit such knowledge through the ages? Other theories propose that these rocks were places of worship where tribes gathered for rituals related to life and death, further emphasizing the importance of their preservation. Yet, despite scientific hypotheses, the true nature of the Rocks of Carajong remains a mystery shrouded in mystique and significance. We can only guess what events and secrets these petrified heroes have witnessed. Standing before them, we realize that the story contained within these rocks is still waiting to be revealed. How many more such wonders are hidden in the corners of our planet, waiting for their secrets to be unraveled? Each of us can be a part of this great mystery, and perhaps one day we will find answers to the questions that torment our minds and hearts. When we leave the magic of the Carriage Rocks, our steps lead us into the mysterious world of the Blue Mountains, or Burra Range, where silent rock formations tower over green valleys, as if guarding ancient secrets. These majestic mountains, shrouded in mist and legend, create an atmosphere where reality seamlessly blends with myths, and each turn on the path reveals new horizons. Local Aboriginals tell stories of Yovi, a mysterious spirit that wanders these lands, protecting them from the uninitiated. These tales of Yovi are passed down through generations, each one adding a new brushstroke to this vivid tapestry, imbuing it with mystical meaning. How could Yovi, this invisible guardian, become a symbol of nature itself? Perhaps it is he who bestows power and energy to this land, making it breathe and speak in the language of the ancients. The Blue Mountains, with their towering cliffs and whimsical formations, seem not just a geographical feature, but a true sanctuary where every tree and stone holds memories of times long past. These rocks, covered in dense forest, exude an aura of tranquility and mystery, making us feel as if we are in the heart of an ancient world. Many researchers and archaeologists have tried to decipher the meaning of these places, but despite their efforts, the enigmatic forces seem to remain beyond human understanding. How can we comprehend and appreciate this beauty when an invisible presence hovers around us, which we can only sense but not see? According to Aboriginal legends, the Blue Mountains were created as a result of a colossal battle between nature spirits, and it was Yovi who calmed their wrath. But what if this spirit is truly a manifestation of the earth itself, its soul? This thought evokes awe and makes us ponder how our ancestors lived in harmony with nature, perceiving it not just as a source of life, but as a sacred space filled with mysteries and wonders. What happened to this connection? Why have we lost the ability to see the world through the eyes of the ancients? Some scientists suggest that the unique geological formations of the Blue Mountains can reveal changes in climate and ecosystems over thousands of years. But how is this connected to spirits and myths? Others say that these lands were the site of ritual gatherings where tribes would meet to honor Yovi and other spirits, strengthening their bond with ancestors and nature. Yet, even with scientific theories and facts, we remain captivated by the mysteries that surround the Blue Mountains. Could these enigmatic spirits really influence the course of history, or are they merely the product of our imagination? As we traverse these ancient paths, we inevitably feel that the Blue Mountains are not just a natural object, but a living entity filled with stories and myths waiting to be told. How many more unexplored corners and secrets does this land hide? Perhaps the answers to our questions lie within the mountains themselves, waiting for us, like adventurers, to find the key to understanding what happened in the past. Each step, each breath here reminds us that we are part of something greater than just our time. And, like with the Carriage Rocks, we can only guess what more mysteries await discovery in this magical kingdom of ancient spirits and living legends. Leaving the enchantment of the Blue Mountains, we find ourselves transported to the distant Easter Island, where the silent sentinels of an ancient cult, the Moai statues, rise above the emerald green, as if guardians of the secrets that shroud this remote corner of the earth. These massive stone giants, carved from volcanic tuff, evoke a hidden awe and admiration, for their grandeur and mystery have remained unsolved for centuries. How could the ancient Polynesians create such monumental structures and move them across the island, surrounded by the vast expanses of the Pacific Ocean? Local legends speak of ritualistic practices connected to ancestors, who, it is said, stood in their statues, protecting and blessing their descendants. The Moai statues, with their massive heads and expressive features, embody not only physical strength, but also a spiritual connection to the ancestors, making them sacred objects for the island's inhabitants. But what lies behind this cult? What were the true intentions of the builders of these colossal statues? According to one of the most widespread theories, The moai were created as symbols of power and status, and their construction was part of a complex ritual that united the island's tribes. However, there is also a more mysterious version, suggesting that the moai served as conduits for spirits that could influence human life. How could such a cult of ancestors become so deeply ingrained in the consciousness of the ancient inhabitants? Perhaps the answer lies in the meticulous craftsmanship and attention to detail with which each statue was created. One of the most enigmatic aspects is the question of how these massive stone blocks were moved. Scholars have proposed various theories, from the use of wooden sleds to the creation of a system of rollers and ropes. But no matter how they explain it, it remains unclear how a small, isolated community could have undertaken such monumental projects. Some believe that it required immense human resources, while others suggest that it could have led to the breakdown of social structures on the island. How could such a complex and powerful culture, capable of such achievements, have come to the brink of extinction? Local residents still tell stories of how the spirits of the ancestors protect Easter Island, and their sacred statues silently watch over the land to keep it fertile. But what is the true nature of these spirits? Some believe that the moai possess magical power and can influence the weather and crops. Others claim that each face of the statues is a reflection of a specific ancestor who protects their lineage. But despite the many versions and theories, the true mystery of the moai remains unsolved. What secrets lie behind their silent gazes? Each year, Easter Island attracts more researchers and tourists eager to unravel this ancient enigma. Walking among the statues, one cannot help but feel how history permeates the very fabric of space. How many more unknown secrets does this small piece of land in the vast ocean hold? Although scientists continue to study these mysterious statues, finding new clues and traces, we are left with the question, how could such an extraordinary cult disappear from human life, leaving behind only these impressive stone monuments? The mysteries of the past, it seems, will never be fully revealed, and each new step in this enigmatic world only deepens our desire to understand it completely. As if in response to our attempts to comprehend them, the moai continue to keep their secrets, remaining silent witnesses to a bygone era and the mysterious events that once took place on this enigmatic island, waiting for someone to try to decipher their silence once again. Rano Raraku, the frozen history of unfinished glory. Immersing ourselves in the atmosphere of Easter Island, we find ourselves in the heart of its stone quarry, Rano Raraku, a place where it seems time has stood still. Here, amidst the majestic but unfinished statues, breath and movement seem to have frozen, leaving only the whisper of ancient legends and mysteries that continue to stir the minds of researchers and travelers. The walls of this unique place are marked by the traces of the work of ancient craftsmen, who, using primitive tools, carved stone giants from soft volcanic tuff, intended to one day occupy their place on the sacred platforms of the island. But what happened? What led to the halt of such a grand project? Why did these statues remain unfinished, their forms frozen in eternal expectation, their faces filled with confusion and silence? According to local legends, the halt of work in Rano Raraku is linked to internal conflicts between tribes, which may have caused the construction to cease being a common endeavor. How could the sacred unity that once united people be shattered? Perhaps it was a result of the growth of envy and rivalry, where each statue became not only a symbol of respect for ancestors, but also a marker of status, causing discontent and disagreement. Other versions speak of divine wrath, how the spirits of ancestors, once blessing their descendants, turned away from them due to improper rituals or lack of respect. These legends only add more mysteries to the already enigmatic history of Easter Island. Each unfinished statue in Rano Raraku seems to bear the seal of time, and their sizes and forms evoke awe and reverence. The feeling that life once thrived here and then suddenly stopped envelops this place with a special charm. How could people with such skills leave their creations in such a state? Perhaps they did not have time to complete their plans, or their work took on other forms when the community faced a crisis that became unbearable. Among these statues, we can see some with not yet fully carved features, while others have begun to grow moss and vegetation, a reminder that even the greatest human achievements can be swallowed by time. What was the purpose of their creation? Why was so much effort expended on creating such massive structures if they could not become part of the lives of their creators? Some researchers suggest that the cause of the halt in work may be the depletion of natural resources necessary for sustaining life on the island. With each passing year, the number of trees decreased, and the tribes could no longer provide the necessary amount of wood for transportation and the creation of statues. How could such a wonderful and complex project, embodying culture and faith, be on the brink of disappearance? Thus, we stand before a mystery that, like a ghost, hovers over this sacred place. How could such wise and diligent people forget about their ancestors, leaving them to the mercy of fate? Each statue left in Rano Raraku bears questions to which there are no definitive answers. Although scientists continue to try to solve this mystery, we are left with the feeling that in this place, the spirit of those who once created still lives, and perhaps waits for someone to once again pay attention to their silent cries for help and understanding. Rano Raraku remains not only a monument to lost culture, but also a symbol of the mysteries that may never be fully revealed. How many more such places remain hidden, waiting for their stories to be told again? Orango, the temple at the edge of the volcano. Moving from the majestic statues of Rano Raraku to the mystical village of Orango, we find ourselves at the edge of a precipice, offering a breathtaking view of the endless ocean. This place, imbued with the spirit of ancient rituals and mysterious customs, was once the center of the Birdman cult, one of the most enigmatic traditions of Easter Island. Here, amidst sharp rocks and rugged cliffs, one can feel the gentle touch of the wind, whispering tales of ancient times when the local inhabitants gathered here to participate in these mysterious rites, filled with tension and anticipation. Orongo is composed of numerous petroglyphs, which, like ancient messages, recount competitions related to the search for the sacred bird, a symbol of power and success. How could these stone images, carved on the surface, convey such complex and culturally significant messages? Each petroglyph, whether it depicts a bird or a person with distinctive features, is not just decoration, but a vital element of history that continues to seek its completion. Legends tell of ancient times when tribes fought for the right to rule the island, conducting ritual contests in which the bravest and most agile warriors had to climb the sacred rock to find the eggs of the bird, shrouded in a mystical aura. These eggs, according to the legends, were blessed by the spirits of the ancestors and brought not only glory, but also power to their finders. How could such a competition, steeped in myths and symbols, become the foundation for such a significant cultural event? It is difficult to imagine how these rituals could maintain unity and support among local communities in the face of fierce competition and constant struggle for survival. Yet, despite all the challenges, the Birdman cult rituals retained their significance in the hearts of the islanders. Participation in them not only strengthened physical strength, but also allowed people to connect with the spiritual world, providing them with confidence and hope. However, despite the importance of these rituals, we are left with the question, what was their true purpose? Why was this bird chosen as a symbol of greatness and power? The understanding of these rituals and their place in the lives of the ancient inhabitants of Easter Island remains an unsolved mystery. Perhaps the very structure of Orongo holds secrets waiting to be discovered, and each stone, each crack in the ground, preserves the wisdom of the ancestors. But this is not the only mystery that this enigmatic island hides. Moving from the Orongo temple, we encounter even more mysterious artifacts, which, like stars in the night sky, shine at us from the distant past, challenging everything we know about the ancient civilization. What are the true origins of these enigmatic objects? And what do they tell us about the people who once inhabited this remote corner of the world? Each discovery can be a key to unraveling another part of this complex puzzle. But for now, we remain mere spectators in this endless game of time and memory. Nanumadal, City of Spirits on Artificial Islands. Traversing the thickets of time and space, we find ourselves on the other side of the world, in the heart of Micronesia, where the ruins of Nanumadal, once a grand city submerged in the lushness of tropical forests, lie hidden. This mysterious complex of artificial islands, consisting of numerous stone structures, continues to stir the minds of researchers and adventurers, much like a ghost from the past. How could such an extraordinary civilization, capable of creating such architectural marvels, vanish, leaving behind only whispers of legends and echoes of ancient voices? Nanumadal, built from massive basalt blocks perfectly fitted together like a giant jigsaw puzzle, towers above the tranquil surface of the lagoon. Each stone, each wall holds secrets and riddles that have remained unsolved for centuries. According to local lore, this city was constructed with the help of magic, and its construction was linked to the spirits of ancestors who, according to local legends, aided people in their quest to create a place for sacred rituals and communication with the heavens. How could these ancient builders, possessing such incredible knowledge and skill, create such architecture that continues to amaze scientists with its strength and intricacy? Moreover, the very nature of this place breathes mystery. Legends about Nanumadal intertwine with stories of spirits that dwell among the ruins. Local residents claim that among the stone walls, one can hear the whispers of those who once lived there, and that the spirits of the ancestors guard their lands from unwelcome visitors. The feeling that every corner of this abandoned city is imbued with spirits creates an atmosphere where one simultaneously feels both awe and reverence. But what happened to this extraordinary civilization? Why did they leave their magnificent islands, leaving behind only stone testimonies of their existence? Some researchers believe that climate change could have been the cause, while others suggest internal conflicts and overpopulation. However, these theories cannot explain why such an advanced culture, possessing knowledge in construction and management, suddenly disappeared, as if dissolved into thin air. And if spirits indeed inhabited Nanumadal, how could this have affected the fate of its inhabitants? Perhaps they became victims of their own rituals, which got out of control. Or was there some taboo that prevented them from leaving their sacred lands? These questions remain unanswered, and each new discovery in Nanumadal only fuels the interest and excitement surrounding this unsolved mystery. Immersing ourselves in the atmosphere of this lost world, we realize that Nanumadal is not just ruins, but a window into another era, where the riddles of the past intertwine with myths, and each stone holds a history waiting to be revealed. But, like many other places that harbor secrets, Nanumadal continues to remain a mystery. Somewhere among the quiet waters of the lagoon and the shadows of ancient trees, the answers to questions that challenge everything we know about human history lie hidden. How many more such cities of spirits remain undiscovered, waiting for their secrets to be revealed? Or will they forever remain in the world of ghosts, where reality and myth intertwine in an endless dance of time? Basalt Columns, traces of ancient giants. As we traverse the vast expanses of Oceania, we encounter something truly captivating: majestic basalt columns that, like giants, tower high above the earth, casting shadows on the verdant meadows and sapphire waters of the ocean. These natural formations, born of volcanic activity and subsequent erosion, seem not just a marvel of nature, but also mysterious monuments crafted by unknown artisans. How did these massive stone pillars, with their perfect straightness and extraordinary geometric shapes, come to be in such a remote corner of the world? Local legends abound with tales of giants who once roamed these lands, leaving behind their creations. Their powerful hands, according to the elders, could carve entire mountains, transforming them into colossal columns that we see today. How could such beings, if they indeed existed, create such architectural wonders that inspire awe and reverence? On some islands of Oceania, such as Easter Island or Tonga, one can find such formations, each imbued with the spirit of antiquity and mystery. For example, on Easter Island stand the enigmatic Moai enormous statues that, according to historians, were carved from tuff, and their size and precision are simply breathtaking. How could the ancient inhabitants create such massive statues with such skill, lacking modern technology? Some researchers suggest that these giants were created in honor of gods. But who were these gods, and what role did they play in the lives of the local people? According to one theory, the colossal columns were not just monuments, but symbols of the connection between heaven and earth, places where the spirits of ancestors could communicate with the living. Yet, despite all these theories, many questions remain. How did these giants manage to create such perfect forms, and why did they disappear? Perhaps they faded into oblivion, leaving behind only stone testimonies of their existence. Or perhaps they turned into stone guardians, continuing to watch over those who dare to approach their domains. Immersing ourselves in the world of these mysterious columns, we realize that each one holds not only history, but also many secrets waiting to be revealed. These natural formations, like silent witnesses, observe the changes around them, and perhaps one day they will tell us about the ancient giants who left their mark on this land. But this is not the only mystery hidden in the depths of the ocean. Let us now turn to other extraordinary artifacts that also proclaim a mysterious past and remind us that we are still far from fully understanding our history. Cyclopean stone walls, the mystery of ancient giants. As we travel through the islands of Oceania, we encounter another enigma that stirs the imagination and challenges our understanding of ancient technologies. These are massive stone walls, towering over the landscape like shields, protecting the islands from the onslaught of time and nature. Their enormous blocks, weighing several tons each, are perfectly fitted together, giving the impression that they were not created by human hands, but by some unknown force capable of manipulating stone in ways that even modern builders cannot. When we gaze upon these ancient structures, we are left with the question, how could people, lacking modern tools and technologies, have built such monumental constructions? Legends of local tribes are filled with tales of mighty builders possessing superhuman strength and wisdom. According to these legends, these colossal walls were not only built for defense, but also as sacred places where the worlds of the living and the dead intersected. Some scholars suggest that such structures could have served as observatories for stargazing. But how can we explain their massive size and complexity? Some researchers propose that ancient builders might have used sound vibrations to shape the stone, but this idea remains purely speculative. Local elders speak of divine intervention, claiming that gods descended from the heavens to assist humans in creating these wonders. How could these mythical beings manage such grand projects, and did they truly exist? Each stone in these walls seems to hold a piece of ancient history that we are not yet able to fully comprehend. Some of these walls, like those on the island of Nukuhiva, bear unique symbols and signs that may contain encoded messages from our ancestors. But who can decipher these messages if even the brightest minds of our time cannot explain how these Cyclopean structures were built? Moreover, with the passage of time, many of these walls have begun to crumble, and with each fallen stone, a part of that mystical history is lost. Thus, they may serve not only as protection, but also as a warning. The collapse of these ancient constructions could signify the loss of our connection to our roots and to those who came before us. But this is not the only mysterious structure we can explore in this fascinating region. Moving from walls to other artifacts, let us delve deeper into the world of enigmatic stone circles, which also conceal many secrets and questions, waiting for their seekers to unravel them. Sunken cities and ruins, echoes of lost worlds. Diving into the depths of oceanic waters, we encounter another unsolved mystery, shrouded in an atmosphere of secrecy and mystique. Beneath transparent waves lie ancient ruins, echoes of lost civilizations that once flourished on the surface but are now submerged in the blue abyss, preserving only memories of their glory. Legends of local tribes tell of sunken lands where once mighty peoples dwelled, possessing knowledge that we can barely comprehend. According to these tales, these lands were swallowed by the ocean in a great cataclysm, perhaps the wrath of gods, or a terrible natural disaster. How could such civilizations, reaching such heights of development, vanish from the face of the earth, leaving behind only fleeting memories and myths? Archaeologists studying these underwater structures find massive stone blocks, perfectly cut and laid, challenging our understanding of ancient building technologies. Some of these finds are not just ruins, but entire cities where once life thrived. Narrow streets, magnificent temples, and even remnants of complex irrigation systems. How were they built if, according to historical records, the technologies of that time did not allow for such grand structures? Some researchers believe these underwater cities were centers of trade and culture. But what caused their downfall? Perhaps they fell victim to climate change or internal strife leading to the fall of powerful dynasties. Local residents, gazing at the sea, speak of the spirits of their ancestors who, they believe, still roam the sunken streets, guarding their secrets. Do these sunken cities really exist, or are they merely the product of imagination? Some scientists propose theories that these underwater finds could be remnants of lost continents like Atlantis, as described by ancient philosophers. But how to explain the disappearance of such advanced cultures? Some researchers claim that the sunken cities are the result of unnatural processes, possibly linked to ancient technologies about which we know nothing. Yet, despite numerous theories, the truth remains elusive. Immersing ourselves in this mystical atmosphere, we realize that each stone, each ruin beneath the water holds a part of the history that humanity has yet to uncover. And what if, hidden in the depths of the ocean, are not only sunken cities, but entire worlds waiting to be discovered? Moving from underwater finds, let us turn our attention to another enigma that captivates the minds of researchers and historians: the strange artifacts found in the most unexpected places, telling stories of forgotten epochs and cultures. Sacred groves with unusual trees, sanctuaries of spirits in living nature. Continuing our journey into the world of ancient mysteries, we find ourselves in the enigmatic sacred groves of Australia and Oceania, where nature itself becomes a living sanctuary, filled with the spirits of ancestors. Here, among tall trees with twisted trunks and leaves shimmering in the sunlight, a unique atmosphere reigns, as if time has stopped, and the world of spirits and humans intertwine in a single dance. Legends of Indigenous peoples tell of these sacred groves as the dwellings of spirits that guard nature and guide their descendants. How did these places become centers of spiritual life for entire nations? The trees here possess extraordinary power. For instance, the sacred eucalyptus trees with their wide canopies and trembling leaves, which, according to legend, can whisper the words of ancestors when the wind passes through their branches. Some of these trees even have their own names and stories passed down through generations. Local residents believe that each of them holds the soul of some ancestor, and that is why they are considered sacred. But how did these groves become so important for culture and traditions? Research shows that some trees have remarkable healing properties, used to create medicines and ritual infusions. Do such trees really exist? Or is this just a metaphor reflecting the connection between humans and nature? The importance of such groves transcends the physical world. They serve as a bridge between the world of humans and the world of spirits. When we enter such a sacred grove, it is as if we cross a threshold into another dimension, where time loses its meaning and the sounds of nature become the sounds of prayer. Immersing ourselves in these places, we uncover not only the secrets of the past, but also the keys to understanding our place in the world. Some researchers believe that sacred groves may be connected to ancient rituals performed to communicate with the spirits of nature. Whatever the case, each step on their soil raises questions. What else lies beyond our understanding? What role did these groves play in the lives of ancient peoples? And what knowledge could they have passed on to us? And this is not the only mystery our world holds. From the sacred groves, let us move on to other extraordinary finds that continue to amaze and intrigue researchers. Mysterious artifacts discovered in the most unexpected places, revealing forgotten epochs and cultures. Petrified fungi, fossilized creatures from Aboriginal myths. Moving from sacred groves, we enter a wondrous world where nature and mythology intertwine. In fantastical forms, these are mysterious formations of sandstone resembling mushrooms found in certain corners of Australia. These whimsical stone structures, carved by time and the power of nature, seem to bear witness to ancient events recounted in the legends of local Aboriginals. How did these fossilized creatures come into being? According to myths, these rocks are the result of mythical transformations, when ancestral spirits turned into stone to preserve their stories for future generations. One legend tells of a great spirit who, to protect his people from evil forces, transformed into a giant mushroom, sheltering his followers under its protective cap. This mushroom, according to the tale, became a symbol of salvation and protection, and its stony form has retained the spirit's power for centuries. Ancient Aboriginals believe these formations are not just stones, but living beings that can hear and feel. Each one holds a part of history, which only those who know how to listen can understand. But how can we uncover the truth behind these myths, and how do they intersect with reality? Geologists point out that these formations were created through erosion and the action of wind and water. But how can we explain the aura of mystery and magic that envelops these places? Some researchers suggest that the fossilized mushrooms may be linked to ancient rituals performed to interact with nature spirits and ancestors. Local residents still come here to perform ceremonies, and standing among these massive rocks, they feel a connection to those who came before. But what is the true nature of these artifacts? Is there some hidden truth waiting to be discovered? Perhaps the fossilized mushrooms are not just a natural phenomenon, but a key to understanding the deep connections between humans and the universe. They remind us that nature is full of mysteries that we do not always understand. And this is just one of many enigmas that our planet hides. From the fossilized creatures, let us move on to other mysterious artifacts that continue to amaze and intrigue. These are the enigmatic figures and symbols found in various corners of the world, telling stories of forgotten epochs and cultures that have left their mark on human history. Let's turn our attention from the mysterious figures and symbols to a remarkable natural phenomenon that has become a true musical box of ancient lands: the ringing stones found in Australia. These unusual stones, also known as singing stones, possess an extraordinary ability to produce melodious sounds when struck against each other or themselves. How is this possible? Could there be music hidden within these stones that we can only hear with the help of nature? The sounds emanating from these stones resemble melodies of ancient instruments, and local residents believe they are carriers of ancestral spirits. Legends say that each stone holds a history that only requires the right approach to be heard. Some Aboriginals claim that these stones are not just geological formations. They are homes for spirits that, according to folklore, communicate with people through sound. Each touch or strike on a stone feels like a conversation with the spirit world, which we cannot fully comprehend. But how does the sound nature of these stones relate to scientific explanations? Geologists explain this phenomenon through the unique structure of minerals and their vibrational properties. But how can we account for the atmosphere of mystery they emit? Some researchers studying these stones note that their sounds resemble those heard in ancient rituals where shamans used stones to connect with spirits. This raises the question: could the sounds of these stones be more than just a natural occurrence, perhaps remnants of ancient scripts inscribed in stone? There are even more mysterious suggestions that these sounds might be linked to astral vibrations, potentially opening doors to other dimensions. How can one phenomenon evoke such diverse interpretations? Some believe that the ringing stones could have served not only for communication with spirits, but also as musical instruments for ancient rituals aimed at strengthening the bond between people and nature. But what was the true purpose of these stones? Can we consider them merely a natural phenomenon, or are they part of a deeper, unsolved mystery that connects humans with their ancestors? Despite all scientific research and attempts to explain this phenomenon, we cannot help but feel that the ringing stones hold more than just physics and geology. Perhaps they are a reminder that the world is full of mysteries waiting to be discovered, and that even seemingly simple phenomena can contain deep secrets. From the ringing stones, let us move on to mysterious places that also leave us with questions we cannot answer. There are numerous ancient structures that continue to puzzle and amaze us, each whispering about forgotten histories that we still need to decipher. Geoglyphs sprawling across the vast expanses of Australia represent one of the most mysterious and captivating enigmas of ancient cultures. These massive earthen mounds and drawings, visible only from above, seem to whisper to us about forgotten civilizations and rituals that once filled this land with life. What secrets lie hidden behind these mysterious symbols etched into the face of the earth? Why did our ancestors leave behind such grand and complex images that can only be perceived from a bird's-eye view? These geoglyphs, crafted from earth and stones, often depict animals, people, and even abstract symbols, suggesting that they served not only as artistic expressions, but also as important ritual signs. Some researchers believe that such images could have been connected to astronomical observations, functioning as calendars that helped ancient people track seasonal changes and significant astronomical events. However, the true purpose of these enormous symbols remains a question without a definitive answer. Local legends tell of these geoglyphs being created in honor of spirits that protect this land, and some even claim that they serve as maps for navigating hidden corners of this mysterious continent. How could ancient peoples, without modern technology, create such large and precise images? Perhaps they possessed knowledge that we have since lost. As further study of these geoglyphs continues, historians and archaeologists encounter a multitude of theories. Some believe they were used for ritual purposes. Others suggest they served as symbols connecting different tribes. But this is not the only interpretation. There are also more mystical interpretations, according to which geoglyphs could be connected to Earth's energies, or even cosmic forces that link us to the universe. How can we explain such a diversity of opinions when each researcher sees something different in these signs? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle, in the idea that these geoglyphs are not just artifacts of the past, but reflections of deep connections between humans and nature. But do we have the ability to decipher their true meaning? Each geoglyph, each line and curve in the earth seems to remain silent, waiting for us to understand their message. Thus, from the enigmatic geoglyphs, we smoothly transition to other mysterious places where nature and humans have created something extraordinary. The world is filled with sacred territories that continue to inspire awe and wonder, each one holding its own secrets and stories, waiting for their mysteries to be revealed. How many more secrets remain hidden beneath the Earth's surface, and how much more of our past have we yet to uncover? Exploring the mystical ancient sites of Australia and Oceania leaves behind a multitude of questions and deep reflections. These enigmatic places, framed by majestic landscapes and shrouded in legends, remind us that human history is filled with unexplored pages and a diversity of cultural beliefs. We have learned about geoglyphs, which, like codes, continue to hide their secrets, about sacred lands that still evoke awe and admiration, and about people who have been creating and passing down these stories for centuries. Although many of these mysteries remain hidden under the veil of time, the interest in them does not fade. This remote part of the world, seemingly lost among the oceans, is actually a mirror of our collective desire to understand the past and unravel its secrets. Each discovery, each new hypothesis about ancient civilizations, their rituals and beliefs, fills us with a sense of wonder and awe. What was the life of those who left their traces on this land like? What secrets are waiting to be revealed? We invite you to share your impressions in the comments. Which of the revealed mysteries impressed you the most? Perhaps you have your own versions and theories about the enigmas we discussed. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue exploring a world full of mysteries and wonders. Each new episode is an opportunity to delve into another story, learn about new discoveries, and perhaps encounter even more unsolved mysteries. Let's continue this exciting journey together, exploring what still awaits us on the pages of history. How many more amazing discoveries await us in the future? And how many secrets are hidden from our view? Don't miss the chance to be part of this fascinating research.